There is a podcast that lies between the imagination of two simple-minded earthlings. Travel with these two longtime friends, Jimbo and 80s E, as they attempt to explore the fifth dimension. Follow along with them as they take the key and unlock the door to the vast space between shadow and substance. This podcast is one of trivia, of insight, and of sounds and ideas from one of the greatest television shows ever produced. You are embarking on a timeless journey. There is your signpost up ahead. You are entering the tragedy of cinema's Twilight Zone.
Mr. and Mrs. John Holt, aging people who slowly and with trembling fingers turn the last pages of a book of life and hope against logic and the preordained that some magic printing press will add to this book another limited edition. But these two senior citizens happen to live in a time of the future when nothing is impossible, even the trading of old bodies for new. Mr. and Mrs. John Holt, in their twilight years, who are about to find that there happens to be a zone with the same name.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Tragedy of Cinema podcast, the Twilight Zone series. I'm your host, Jimbo, and I'm joined once again by my fellow aliens.
Hey, this is Bond down here in Texas.
This is 80Z here residing in Indianapolis this evening.
So, gentlemen, tonight we come to one of those episodes in the Twilight Zone that almost appears like it could be happening today. Of course, I'm talking about the trade-ins. And the premise for this episode is basically, well, let me just go ahead and read the plot summary before I tell you what I was thinking as I was watching this. So you got John and Marie Holt visit the New Life Corporation, hoping to transplant their personalities into youthful artificial bodies. Unfortunately, they only have $5,000, just enough for one body. Marie pleads with John, who is in constant pain, to have the operation yourself, but he won't hear any of it. So what's he do? He tries to double his money trying his luck at poker. But, gambling never pays off because pretty soon he runs out of all of his money and now he has nothing. But fortunately, the guy that is running the gambling game feels sorry for him and gives him all of his money back. So he decides to have the operation. So he comes out and he's all youthful and joyful. And he's like, look what we can do together. He's like, I feel great. I can bounce around the room. And he looks at his wife and there she is. And she's still old and frail. And I won't give the ending away just yet, but that plays into a part of how this episode ends. But as I'm watching this, I don't know if you guys picked up on this. I started thinking about today's world. And you always hear like Elon Musk talking about putting a microchip into your brain somewhere where you could say, hey, play Elvis Presley Heartbreak Hotel, and it's going to go ahead and click in your brain and start playing it. You hear about Walt Disney, who had his head frozen, hoping that one day he can have a new body with all of his conscience and everything in it. Do you guys think we are actually that far off from achieving something like that?
I don't think so.
Go
ahead, Bob.
I was going to say that I think that our next step would be to download all the information into our brain, into some sort of computer system. And then once they advance robot technology or Android technology enough, they would just download all that information into some sort of Android body. And your consciousness, in essence, would live forever. It's just a matter of getting all the information in your head, recorded somewhere and stored somewhere so they could just download your personality.
Well, I know speaking of Elon Musk, he's got this Neuralink project that he's been talking about for several years, which is like a chip just implanted, like just below I think we've talked about it before, just underneath your skull. And yeah, you just upload the internet and it makes you a superhuman of sorts, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm. That's just where my mind went as I was watching this episode. I didn't know if you guys had thought about that while you were watching it.
Yeah, I definitely thought about it. I think there's only one problem with science. They can't recreate the soul. So I'll just throw that out there up front.
So I think this part of the episode sort of reveals some of that.
But just think, Eric, you could work at UPS for like 500 years.
No, thanks. I'll pass. Yeah.
Like Futurama.
Yeah. And Bond could teach for another 50, 60 years.
I could teach for
Fourth
100
graders.
more years.
Yeah.
The
back in my day.
Yeah.
I had your great grandfather in my class. He was a jerk too.
Yeah. Just wait. We'll come to that episode at the end of season 3. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to jump in on the trade-ins. This is the Twilight Zone season number 3, episode number 31. It comes in with an IMDb rating of 7.6 on your Richter scale. This episode was directed by Elliot Silverstein. It was written, of course, by Rod Serling. And its original air date was April the 20th, 1962. And our total production costs come in at $52,877.70. And let's circle back around to that original air date, April 20th, 1962. And you know what time it is, folks.
On this day in history.
It's our favorite segment in the episode. This segment, On This Day in History, this would be for TV, music, sports, all kinds of good stuff for April the 20th, 1962 for the episode's air date. But let's go all the way back to 1896. And one John Philip Sousa, he had an operetta, and it was called El Capitan. And no, it's not just a Mac operating software system. It's actually was an opera, and it premiered in 1896 on Broadway at the Broadway Theater, New York City. And that was 1896. 1939, probably a familiar name, who was also rumored to have a frozen head, Ted Williams. He got his first Major League Baseball hit off the New York Yankees in 1939, and he got it off a future Hall of Famer named Red Ruffing. Never heard of Red Ruffing, but that's who Ted Williams got his first hit. And he actually got a victory as well. Boston beat the Yankees that day 2-0 in their opener. In 1946, on April the 20th, Walt Disney, they had an animated film anthology, Make Mine Music. You guys ever heard of that? I was not familiar with Make Mine Music.
I've never seen that one before, that's for sure.
Yeah, me either. So that was in 1946, and it premiered in New York City as well. On April 20th, 1967, New York Mets pitcher Tom Seaver wins his first game, and he helps beat the Cubs 6-1. The Mets beat the Cubs that day. A lot of baseball in this day in history today. But here's a play on Broadway, I guess, April the 20th, 1969. I'm sure you guys know who Al Pacino is. He wins a Tony Award. I didn't even realize that he had won a Tony Award, but it was for the Best Featured Actor Award in a play that was entitled, Does a Tiger Wear a Necktie? You guys ever hear of that? Does a tiger wear a necktie?
No, I've never heard of that one.
Me either.
I know he won a Tony, but I had never seen that play.
Yeah. So I wasn't even aware that Al Pacino won that. April 20th, 1971, Barbara Streisand records We've Only Just Begun. Bond, Sarah, you know that song, Serenade Us? We've Only Just Begun.
I see that. I don't have to do it because you just did it. So that's awesome. Saves me a little bit.
Yeah, Barbara Streisand. Let's see, April 20th, 1977, Annie Hall. It was directed by Woody Allen. And have you guys covered Annie Hall yet in the podcast? I don't think that we have. I'm getting some shakes.
I don't think so.
It starred Woody Allen and Diane Keaton, and the reason why I bring it up is it actually won an Academy Award for Best Picture in 1978. So it was released on April the 20th, 1977, and won an Academy Award in 1978. Here's one I'm very familiar with. April the 20th, 1986, Michael Jordan sets the NBA playoff record with a 63-point game against the Boston Celtics. And the Bulls would go on to lose the series. Actually, they may have even lost that game. I have to fact check that. But I know it was a record in the Boston Garden. It was 63 points. Back to baseball, April the 20th, 1990. Former MLB baseball player and manager Pete Rose pleads guilty to hiding $300,000 of income. So maybe that was from gambling. Not sure, but I think the IRS went after him for that $300,000. And here's one, April the 20th, 1993. I at least everyone I knew probably had this album, but Mercury Nashville Records releases Shania Twain, the debut studio album of Shania Twain. Very popular in my household growing up, and she was quite lovely as well.
Whose bed have your boots been under there, Eric?
Yeah, no kidding. She's had a lot of work done. It looks like plastic surgery wise, right? Here lately, she doesn't even look like the same person. Yeah. But that was a big time record back in 1993. And finally, April 20th, 2012, People magazine, they named Eva Mendes as 2012's most beautiful at every age. So Eva Mendes, another lovely lady, won an award by People magazine as most beautiful. Don't have any birthdays, so we'll just move along from this day in history. Let's talk about the days of rehearsal and days of filming, and then I'll let Bond tell us all about this wonderful cast. So the dates of rehearsal for this particular episode was 2 days, April 14th and April 15th of 1962. And then we had 3 days of filming, February 16th, 19th, and 20th of 1962. The entire episode was filmed on stage 12, except for the third and last day with the gambling room was filmed on stage 8. The scene where John Holt was on the verge of tears because the pain he was suffering during the card game was more than acting. And I have this also in my trivia. Schildkraut's wife, she actually passed away. Her name was Mary Kay, and she actually passed away Saturday, February the 17th. But rather than re-empt the filming or, reschedule things, Schildkraut insisted on completing the scenes on February 19th and 20th. So always the consummate professional. Wow. His wife just passed away, and he insisted that they finish the recording. So with that said, Bond, tell us some more about Schildkraut and the others in this cast of characters.
Sure will, man. You were talking about Joseph Schildkraut. Did not know his wife passed away literally while they were filming this episode. That's pretty sad. He was an actor. He actually started acting as early as 1915. So I'm assuming the first 10 years of his career was mostly silent films. He did win an Academy Award for his role in The Life of Emile Zola. So he's an Academy Award winning actor. He's also in a Twilight Zone episode called Death Head Revisited.
Yes, very good episode.
Mm-hmm.
We have Noah Keane as Mr. Vance, the salesman. He was in Battle for the Planet of the Apes. Now, here's something weird. Alma Platt plays Mrs. Vance, right? Plays Mrs. Holt, I should say. Alma Platt plays Maria Holt. I couldn't find anything on her. Like, if you look and search and stuff, there's not really much on her. So I don't know if this was her only role. I don't know if her acting career has gotten lost through time. But I was pretty sad about that I couldn't find anything about Alma Platt, who plays Maria Holt. Faraday is the gangster. He's played by Ted Marcuse. And he's actually in the Twilight Zone episode To Serve Man.
Oh, he was?
So I don't know what role he plays in that. I have to look for him. But he's hidden in there.
I thought he did a good job.
And then, when John Holt becomes young, I guess that's probably in the end of the second act or something. Mm-hmm. He comes out, he's a young man. That's played by Edson Stroll. Edson Stroll was in another Twilight Zone episode, Eye of the Beholder.
Yes, he was.
Mm-hmm. And he's also in the Elvis Presley movie, G.I. Blues.
Okay.
And that's really like most of your main cast for this episode.
Yeah, so a lot of Twilight Zone retreads, right? They've already been in episodes, and this might be their second time around. I think it might be in my notes, too. I'll just mention it up front, because just in case it isn't. But I think the person who they originally wanted to play Marie Holt was like 27 years old. And it didn't really make a whole lot of sense. I can't remember if I had it in my notes or if I just heard it in passing. But yeah, Marie Holt was much better cast and suited for this episode rather than a 27-year-old that they probably would have had to make up to make look really old. But let's launch right in to our outline here. I'm calling the first act The Choice. So we meet John and Marie Holt, an elderly couple, deeply in love but suffering from the ravages of old age. And they visit a futuristic medical facility, and it was called the New Life Corp. And this particular place offers a procedure allowing people to trade in their own worn out bodies for young, healthy ones. And let's listen to a clip here and we'll get a better idea of the salesman who is strongly selling the Holtz on this idea.
Which is one of the reasons the New Life Corporation is in existence. We alleviate pain, Mr. and Mrs. Holt.
Oh?
We make it a thing of the past. Do you know what we deal in?
No.
We deal in youth, Mr. and Mrs. Holt. We deal in new life. Yes.
New?
Our stock in trade is simply rebirth.
Rebirth. So that's the title of the clip that I put in here. So John and Marie, they're excited at the prospect of a rebirth with pain-free bodies. Like, aren't we all, right? Like, that would be amazing if you could. I don't know if I would want to go. I don't know. Let me ask you guys individually, like, what age, if you could be reborn, because I think in the display cases, there were younger, even younger than 20 years old. What John Holt ended up choosing was like a 20-year-old. What age would you guys go back to? Would you want to go all the way back to infancy, or what do you think?
Jimbo, I'll let you go first.
What do you think?
Well, Eric, if we could go back with the knowledge that we have now, I would like to go back to, I believe it was our 4th and 5th grade year, maybe 5th and 6th grade year.
Okay.
When we had the Chapel Hill Trojans baseball team that Eric and I played for,
AKA the Bad News Bears, right?
We were terrible.
We lost every game.
We were really terrible, weren't we?
Yeah.
But knowing now, if we went back, I think me and you could have been all-stars.
You think so? I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. If I'm taking the knowledge with me,
How is your knowledge going to help you be a better batter?
how to swing the bat? Okay, that's one.
I think that would have to correspond with a really athletic body that you would have to be. Yeah, because both of us were not great athletes.
Years of dedication. I got this body. Don't forget.
No, I'm just saying, like, yeah, we weren't the greatest athletes.
9-year-old body. You have a 9-year-old body. Just because you know to swing the bat doesn't mean you be strong enough to swing it.
And you know what? Then Bond would be our school teacher.
Hey, there you go.
There you go. You would never pass.
Speaking of 9-year, I saw this YouTube. I'm sorry, I'm off on a rabbit trail. This kid was hitting ping pong balls with a small, I don't even know what it was. It was just like a specialized wiffle ball bat, and his dad was pitching. And he actually would grab up like 3 or 4 balls, and they were all painted different colors. And he would throw them simultaneously and yell out to his kid, hit the blue one, hit the yellow. And the kid, I mean, he had a laser eye. It was amazing. I'm watching this kid just crank homers with these tiny little, I mean, a baseball is going to look like a beach ball by the time he actually gets to, play. Anyway.
I didn't know he was going to go that far back. I didn't know he was going to say back when I was 9 years old.
Yeah. What do you think, Bond? Teenager?
27?
27. Okay. 27.
Teenager, no. A teenager. I mean, just because I have the knowledge doesn't mean if you go back, is your parents going to go? If you go back to when you're 9, where are you going to live?
Yeah.
Because your parents didn't go back in time either. You're not
That's
going back
true.
in time. You're just getting a 9-year-old body.
Right.
So you're going to be a homeless 9-year-old.
It's not good.
Yeah. I would probably say like 27, because you can still do like all the adult stuff that, adults do. And you're right at that edge where the military is not interested in you anymore. So you don't have to worry about that. You could pick a different career and all that kind of stuff. Go back with the knowledge you have now as a 20-year-old. You make a lot less stupid decisions, I think.
Agreed. I think 21 for me was a pretty good year. But to your point, Bond, I would not make a lot of the same decisions I did at 21. But just the overall, body feeling and, all that stuff. You still have a lot of optimism and hope, and not to say that it's completely gone.
At age 21, I would tell my 21-year-old self, just because Taco Bell is open till 4 a.m. doesn't mean you need to get a burrito at 4 a.m.
No kidding. All right. So they're excited. John and Marie, they're really excited about this idea of rebirth, as are we. So depending on what age you would choose. So the cool thing about these new lifespans on these, what they're called, quotes, human receptacles, they can last up to 112 years. So I'll phrase the same question. Like, would either of you like to live to 112 and beyond? I myself, I don't think I would want to, even if I could, even if I felt halfway decent, like physically, I don't know that I would want to live to 112. What do you guys think?
Well, here's what you're failing to realize. So this new life corporation, okay, it says, hey, this new body will make you last to live 112 years old or whatever, correct?
Correct.
Right.
So if you get a younger body and you go get another job paying more money, you could save up enough again to redo it again and get another 112-year-old body, and then you could do it again. So basically you could live forever.
Interesting. Okay.
I like that idea. The only difference is it's not going to be $5,000 in 112 years.
No, it's not.
Neither is your paycheck. Your paycheck should go up.
That's what I'm saying. If you could figure it out where you save a little percentage of your paycheck and
Right.
Right.
I mean, just your stock investments alone should be able to pay for it.
Right.
Take put money in a stock and wait 100 years.
Yeah. And I think I have one big question, and I'll save for the end when we're giving our reviews. And Jimbo, that kind of comes into play in my question. Let's move along, though. In our episode, we realize that we get these human receptacles. I already talked about that. Mr. Vance, the salesman, he leads them down a long corridor into a futuristic showroom. Okay, there's a lot of glass casings and really cool hallway corridor there. And just as John Holt, the Holts themselves are discussing the finer details of the procedure, we get Rod's introduction, and I'll throw that in the beginning of our episode. But the Holts, their devotion is clear, and you get the feeling like they would rather grow old together than have only one of them young. And that leads me into the second act, right? The sacrifice. Mr. Vance, he's a slick salesman. He shows the couple several staged displays, and it all seems like a miracle to Marie, right? This is like a miracle. This is amazing. Like, can't believe this. But the problem, the conflict comes into play, right? Here's the problem. They discover that they only have enough money for one operation, right? Only one of them. They only have $5,000. I don't know if that was a misunderstanding before they came in or whatever, but Mr. Holt, he only has $5,000. He thought that maybe was the price for the pair, but it turns out it was only that's each. And so Marie, she's offering to let John undergo the procedure, just by himself. She's really pushing for him to do it. He's the one in pain. He's the one who's been sick, but he's wrestling with this, and he really doesn't like the idea of them being separated. He says, "No, Marie, I'm not going to do it unless we can do it together." So they wrestle with this dilemma of love versus the opportunity of youth. So that's the dilemma, and really takes up most of Act 2. Then we come to Act 3, the resolution. After a feeble attempt to double his money in a poker game, John is down to his last dollar and his last play. So we get a scene shift, and he doesn't see a way out. This is he has to figure out a way to double his money. He's not going to go and do it on his own. So anything from you guys that stuck out along that process there in those two acts?
I would have definitely, I think I would have just went to like a roulette table and put $5,000 down on black or 5,000 on red, let the thing spin.
Just let it ride, baby.
And then you double your money on one spin. I mean, why would you go to like some gangster and play in an underground poker game, multiple hands trying to build up? If I was willing to gamble it, risk it all, I would take it all, put it on black, let the roulette wheel spin, bam, lose everything or double your money.
And he doesn't even know how to play poker to begin with. I mean, he's scrambling around asking these gangster guys how to play and, relying on their good nature to tell him the truth. I saw a guy, speaking of that, Bond, I saw a guy in Vegas one time. I went to Vegas one time, and we were just walking through like a casino or whatever. And I saw that actually happen on a black or red. on a roulette wheel, this guy pulls out a wad of money and he just puts it down on, I forget, black or red, and spun, and he won. Doubled his money just in an instant. Like, I was like, whoa, that's a real pretty cool move.
Might as well, right? Just risk it all. If you're willing to gamble it to try to get enough money, I was like, why don't you just do something like that rather than ask a bunch of gangsters how to play and mobsters how to play poker, you know?
Yeah. All right, well, let's go inside this poker game and learn a little bit.
Why do you need the money? Now go on, tell me. I'm interested.
You are? You see, Mr. Faraday, I wanted to be young again. Marie, and that's my wife, Marie and I wanted to have new bodies, but it cost $10,000 and we only had half of it, so I thought maybe, but I botched it. I'm no good at this, Mr. Faraday. Not good at anything anymore. Just a tired, sick, old, useless man. Not worth anything to anybody.
Best scene in the whole episode. And if this is the scene he had to film post his real life wife's death, I thought it was, one of the best scenes in the whole episode. You can really feel it. Anything, guys? Anything from this stick out to you?
I was really liking the character Faraday.
Me too.
At first, I didn't like him, but as the scene progressed, I was really liking how he was.
Definitely. Jimbo, anything?
Nope, not really.
I just thought that going back to what Bon said, the piano playing big hard card shark, Mr. Faraday, was a nice touch in the episode. It was a good thing that he wasn't KGB from the movie Rounders. That's what I put down as a comment. You remember the movie Rounders and KGB? Oh, yeah. Pay that man his money, right? When Matt Damon finally beats him. But
if I can go back to like the scene before where there's like that showroom and there's all the different examples of all the bodies and things you could pick from. Two quick questions. One, why were they all at the beach? Like all the displays are like, hey, here they are at the beach, and they're like in their bathing suits and bikinis and stuff like that, which I thought was kind of weird.
Because what better way to show off the physical specimen that you could have than your bikini body or your muscular body?
Beach body. But then just have them. I mean, I know you can't do it for television, but just have them be naked. Because it's like, okay, here's the naked body. I mean, because honestly, before I'm going to be in a body for 115 years, 125 years,
I don't know it's going to be good.
Yeah, I'm checking. You know what I'm saying?
I think I know where you're going with this. And I think the naked bodies would be the 2025 version of this.
No, I have a question. Could they have, did like the old mix and match like at McDonald's and took one guy from one spot and a girl from another one and matched them that way? Or was it sold as the set?
I don't know. It seemed like the government had pretty strict rules because they couldn't even finance the other 5,000 even. So,
right.
So I don't know.
I thought you meant switch as in like.
Well, they probably could.
John would be the wife this 100 years, and Marie would be the husband.
Hey, they probably could have.
Switch. Why couldn't you just say, well, I'll tell you what, how about if I'm the husband for the next 125 years and you're the wife?
The trans life. The trans life corp.
The wife wore those pants in the family anyway. You can already tell.
Oh yeah. He didn't. Hey, he was 65, 80 years old, however old he was, and he didn't know how to play poker. His wife definitely wore the pants in the family.
But did you notice that all those people in that Hall of Fame or whatever you want, the Wall of Shame, whatever you want to call it, those were all portrayed by real people. You can actually see them moving. There is one that really stands out, and it's the one I think where the lady's got like a cup and the guy's dumping something or whatever. But if you watch as they're walking down the hallway to the next one, and it goes over the shoulder of, I believe it's the missus, you can watch the lady just drop her arm and pull out of the scene. And I'm like, huh.
Yeah, I saw
really
that.
Weird.
I saw that in my goofs, but I went back and watched it, and I guess I didn't have a keen enough eye to catch that.
Oh, I'll show it to you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you could definitely tell, especially when he picks the body and they pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can tell he's like a real person. They're trying to.
And it's kind of like, and you can see him kind of like, what was that episode we did, Eric, where the guys go and they see all those supposedly mannequins that are frozen, and they were played by real people, but you could see them kind of, starting to sway a little bit.
I remember the
I
episode,
like that
but
episode.
it was like on a alien planet.
Like on an asteroid or something,
yeah,
right?
I don't remember the name of the episode, but I know what you're referring to. Yeah.
But I didn't know if Bond had any of the actors or actresses that were the life-size living models behind the glass.
Yeah, just Edson Stroll, who plays the young John Holt, the one the actual body he picks. But the other actresses and the other actors, they were just extras. They didn't get any credit at all.
I may have something in my trivia. It's not coming to mind now, but maybe I might have something there. So after everything goes down, right, we left off in the poker room. After breaking even in the poker game, John returns to the New Life Corp, or the Trans Life Corp, according to Jimbo.
Not me, Bond.
Oh, sorry, Bond. So he returns, and he because of the kind-heartedness of Mr. Faraday, he basically retains his $5,000. I thought that was really cool. How he had a hand that he beat John Holt's hand, but Faraday lets him keep his money. After the transformation, Mr. Holt goes back. He decides that he just can't live like this anymore. He's going to take the $5,000 and he's going to do it. His wife will understand. So after the transformation, John appears in a strong, youthful body, but when he looks at Marie, he feels only heartbreak. And the contrast between their ages is too painful, right? And that was a really dramatic scene. The camera kept zooming in on both of their faces, back and forth and back and forth. And, after young John does like a pirouette and does some push-ups on like a bench, which I thought that was kind of corny. He like does like a ballerina pirouette. Look at me, Marie, or whatever he says. I thought that was kind of funny. He realizes that his new body means nothing without his wife. And John, he decides that he's going to reverse the procedure, returning to his frail, elderly form. And then the couple leaves the clinic arm in arm. They're reaffirming their true love and happiness. And they're affirming that it comes from, not from youth, but from sharing a life together, however short it may be. Then we come to the close of our episode, and Rod, he closes with a narration that emphasizes timelessness of love over physical change. And I thought it was interesting too. Like there's a lot of poetic quotes in like these last three, I think it's the last 3 episodes. And I don't have them. I might have 1 or 2 of them in front of me, but very philosophical and heavily poetic on the quotes. Anything on those last scenes? If not from you guys, I'll throw some trivia at you.
I have the poetic, the prophet that
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
that he shares. It's from Khalil Gibran's The Prophet. Love gives not but itself. It takes not from itself. Love possesses not, nor will it be possessed. For love is sufficient unto love.
Yeah, in my final remarks, I referenced that, but it's more. I wonder if Gibran referenced or had knowledge of some of the New Testament scriptures and might have come out of First Corinthians 13. They do that a lot of weddings and so forth.
So do you think that the government kept the $5,000?
Yeah, I think it's not returnable.
Yeah,
It's not refundable.
What does he say? Though?
I didn't know if there was like a grace period.
He said there was a grace period of like a week, right?
Right. So my thing is, do you think he said, okay, well, let's let my wife try it for a day or whatever? Right?
That would be terrible.
The trade-ins too.
And they get your $5,000 back again. So,
the trade-ins too.
I can just imagine. So he feels so bad. He sees his wife. His wife is still elderly. There's that touching scene. My favorite scene in the whole episode is when he looks into his wife's eyes and sees that she is still old. And he decides, I want to grow old and die with my wife, right? Rather than be young and without pain. So he goes back, gets the operation, becomes old again, gives the $5,000 to Marie. Marie says, okay, my turn. She changes. she becomes young and goes, "I love it. Bye,
Yeah.
sucker."
Right.
I'm good. See ya.
So I think it would have worked if, let's say, he would have became the man, but once he does it, he's not allowed to leave that. He becomes one of the mannequins inside the facility where he can't go home. Yeah, you can get this younger body, but guess what? You have to stay here. You cannot leave. You now have to pose and wait till somebody else comes along. And I think that would have been a great twist.
The Twilight Zone twist. I see you working. Okay.
But there was no twist in this.
Which is going to knock it down
trash.
The twist is he goes back to becoming old rather than.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to some trivia, and then we'll let Jimbo rant and rave about how much he hates this episode. So, Joseph Schildkraut, we talked about this a little bit earlier. His second wife of 29 years died while he was filming this episode. Coming from a theatrical family, he insisted on finishing the production before he began mourning. In this episode, John Holt, or Joseph Schildkraut, he is 79 years of age, and his wife, Marie Holt, Alma Platt, is 5 years his junior, 74 years of age in the episode. In real life, however, Schildkraut was 66 years of age, and Alma Platt was 5 years his senior. She was 71 at the time of the episode. That was interesting. So this episode focuses on age and becoming young again. In 1962, the year this episode originally aired, the average life expectancy of a male was 66.90 years, and female was 73.50 years. In this episode, the first quotation mentioned is from the poem Rabbi Ben Ezra. It was by Robert Browning. From the first stanza, it says, "Grow old along with me, the best is yet to be, the last of life for which the first was made. Our times are in his hand, who saith, a whole I planned, shows but half, trust God, see all, or be afraid." So I'm a little confused. This poem was written by, maybe it was referenced by Rabbi Ben Ezra, and the poem itself was written by Robert Browning. Nevertheless, those were kind of the two poetic. Bond had one and I had one. And then he's already talked about Khalil Gibran. On March 16, 1961, issue of the Hollywood Reporter announced that Rod Serling is pinning a Twilight Zone to the measurement of Joseph Schildkraut. And here's this younger lady's name who was originally supposed to be cast. Her name was Ziva Rodan. She would have only been 29 years old at the time of filming. The trade paper was a little late in reporting the news, but by the time the script was assigned and a production number of February the 8th, 1962, and scheduled for filming, Ziva Rodan was unavailable and Alma Platt had signed on for the role of Marie. So probably a good move that a 29-year-old wasn't supposed to be playing a 70-year-old. Serling's relationship with Schildkraut, remained a healthy and happy one. In January of 1964, he actually donated $1,000 to Schildkraut as an investment in a stage production, which he was handling. Serling's faith in Schildkraut and his talent was evidenced by his willingness to invest without even looking at a script. So he was really good in the previous episode too. Death's Head Revisited. That was I think Jimbo and I rated that one very high, about the guy who returned to the concentration camp and all that. So that's all I have for trivia. And I'll just mention, Jimbo already mentioned the goof. As a lifeless cocktail hour model, as she moves out of the frame in the showroom, the woman is seen moving her arm. And I'm going to have to go back and really look at that because I didn't catch it.
I'll timestamp it for you and send it to you.
Yeah. So on to questions and observations. But before we do that, you guys want to go ahead and just give your reviews now? And
Bond, why don't you go first?
Okay.
I'll be generous.
Thanks. Okay, my little bit of trivia. $5,000 in 1962. I looked it up. It translates to about $53,000 today.
Yep.
So it's like you had to have $53,000 cash for the government to take. I don't know why the government only takes cash. That seems kind of fishy. But That's what it would be today.
So it would be
I can
100.
see them not having that.
Be 100
Yeah.
grand for the couple, right?
Yeah, that'd be a lot of cash to just walk in with.
Yeah.
I liked this episode. I thought it was romantic. It was very well acted. I think all the actors and actresses did a wonderful job. Showcrout did a great job as John Holt. Like I said, Faraday even grew on me after a while. And of course, just the way that Mr. and Mrs. Holt looked at each other and communicated with each other was great. Yeah, the little dancing around scene was weird. The fact that they, he wore those 1960, early 60s bathing suit was kind of weird and outdated.
The sports
So
Speedo.
that was kind of awkward. Like I said, I agree with Jimbo. I think I would check the plumbing if I was going to have to deal with that for 115 years. That might have been your Twilight Zone twist right there.
We know what Bond's prop piece he's taking.
My prop piece was going to be the surfboard. The surfboard.
Oh, okay.
No, not the Speedo. But I have to give this episode about a 7.5. I think it's great.
7.5.
Yeah.
It is.
Not a big twist at the end, but well acted and got the sci-fi element. It's a good episode. Entertaining. Well acted.
Jimbo, you want me to go? And then you want to close it?
Sure. Go ahead.
All right, here's my question. Why couldn't a young John Holt with a strong, pain-free body save the 5K, right? He takes the procedure, saves the 5K. He's got all these years of work ahead of him. And then go back once he's saved up the money and then have his wife do the procedure, and then they'd be the same age.
You want me to tell you why?
They couldn't separate them? Is that why?
No.
Okay.
Because he's going to go back into the workplace and all the ladies are going to be like, whoa, look at this specimen walk in here. And what's going to happen? He's going to get a little flirty. And next thing you know, he's getting a divorce and he's going to be with some hot honey is what's going to happen.
Mr. Holt is not that type of guy, though.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
Terrible.
But it's true, right?
Maybe.
Why are you laughing, Bond? Because it's true.
Maybe.
Well, first off, it took them a lifetime to save $5,000. So the idea of him
but
going
they
back,
couldn't move anymore.
she's going to be
He could have
long
2 or
gone.
3 jobs. He could have
He's
2
gonna be
or 3
long gone
mistresses by then.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe she would be dead by the time he got
Right.
$5,000, but I don't know. I just feel like that was one
There's
big
your Twilight
question.
Zone twist right there.
Yes.
He goes back to work, and then right when he has enough money for her to have the procedure, she dies.
The end.
The end.
No, but I thought it was a good episode. It was a lot of themes were aging versus youth, the power of sacrifice, and eternal love. So here's just my remarks. In the trade-ins, John and Marie Holt face love's first true test when they learn that they can only afford one youth-restoring procedure. Their dilemma whether to either can truly enjoy a longer life without the other. Echoes of scriptural truth in 1 Corinthians 13, as I mentioned that earlier. Love does not seek its own. When John chooses to undergo the procedure alone, his new body is flawless. But here's the key. The emotional connection with Marie is lost. This illustrates technology's emotional blind spot, which we kind of talked at the top of the show. Technology has an emotional blind spot. It can restore youth, but not shared history nor emotional connection. The haunting visual contrast between young John and old Marie reflects the isolating reality of one-sided rejuvenation and forces the question, is a longer life worth it if it means that you're losing the one you love? Again, as Paul writes, if I have not love, I am nothing. Realizing this, Mr. Holt sacrifices his new body and returns to his aging form, a selfless act of love that mirrors the biblical principle that love bears all things and endures all things. Their final moments together affirm that love is eternal. Though their time is short, their bond is rooted in something deeper than youth. Like the closing words of 1 Corinthians 13, the episode testifies that of faith, hope, and love, the greatest of these is love. So I think it's at 8. I think it was ranked at 8. I forget what my prop piece is. If I think of it, I'll mention it. But Jimbo, tell us what you think of this episode.
All right, fellas. I'm going to be honest with you. Here we go. Number one, who wrote this episode?
Rod Serling.
Right.
Rod shouldn't write episodes. Okay. You look at the next couple we're doing, The Gift, Cavender is coming. He just needs to stop. Okay. Leave it to real writers, Rod. Okay. Yeah, you can get on there and smoke your little cigar and do your little introductions and your little closing monologues.
Rough.
But leave the writing to like Charles Beaumont or some of those other people, because this was terrible. Number two, Twilight Zones. Why did you fall in love with Twilight Zones? Why did you? For the epic creatures, the epic sci-fi, the epic twist. That's what we all love about the Twilight Zone. Eric, we always talk about the twist. What's the Twilight Zone twist? This does not have a twist. Oh, I'm going to go back and just become old with my wife. That's not a twist. That's reality sitting in, folks. So
Okay.
the acting was good. I will give it that. Okay. But as far as the story goes, it doesn't deserve to be in the Twilight Zone, fellas. This needs to be on like the Hallmark Channel.
It's sci-fi,
Okay, give it
though.
a half hour. Huh?
It's sci-fi. You get a brand new body, medical technology. It's
Stop.
sci-fi. That's
Stop,
part of the
Eric. You're
lore
not
of
helping
the
the
Twilight
cause.
Zone.
You're not helping the cause. Okay.
All right.
I like that you can take some of this stuff and apply it to the world today, as we talked about Elon Musk and, you know, what if your conscience could go into an android or an alien or even a computer where you could live, like if you ever seen Ready Player One, I don't know if you have, Eric, I know Bond probably has, where you actually live within a virtual reality world. You see the houses there, they're stacked on top of each other because the population is just so out of control. The houses are stacked upon each other, but what does everybody do? They're like living in trailers, right? But they put on these headpieces. They're driving race cars. They're motorbikes. They're shooting war things. They're fighting dragons. So for me, this misses the mark of what a Twilight Zone should be. And I can't stress that enough. For me, I'm giving this a 6. I could have went a lot lower, but just for the acting and the guy lost his wife, I'm going to be generous and give it a 6. Okay. I don't think Rod Serling, I think he wrote the changing of the guard at the end of this season, which is a step up from this. Okay. But I would like to go back once we are done out of the 5 seasons of the Twilight Zone. I would like to see the ones, once we do our top 10 list, I would like to go back and see out of the 30 episodes that we are going to pick of the entire Twilight Zone. So 10 for me, 10 for Eric, 10 for Bond. I would like to go back and see who wrote those episodes that we are going to place in the top 10 greatest of all time of the Twilight Zones when we get there, because that will be a very interesting telltale of what a Twilight Zone means to each of us. Okay. So that doesn't mean you can go look and see what Rod Serling wrote just to put him up there either, Eric. Okay.
I'm picking all Rod.
My prop piece, I want to take, well, if I can't take one of the girls, I want to take the strawberries that are the grapes that was being fed to the one. So I will take the strawberry or the grapes, because Bond's usually been taking like a pickle and a turnip or whatever he took the last couple episodes. So I'm going to take the food this time. But for me, it misses the mark completely of what a Twilight Zone episode should be.
All right.
I just keep it real.
Oh, okay.
A 6 isn't still bad. That's not too bad.
I mean, but can you at least give a half a point? The guy's wife died.
I did. I gave him a whole point for that. I gave him a 6 instead of a 5.
Right.
Wow. I gave him a whole point.
So you were going to go a 5 and you gave him a 6 instead.
You said what?
Exactly. I didn't know his wife died.
6.
Yeah, so I'm going to give it a 6.
It is not a 5 episode. But
it is not an 8 episode either there, Mr.
We're going to go back and check to see what other episodes rank equally to this.
Bond, I don't know if you've listened to all the Twilight Zones that ADZ and I did before you hopped on here, but we hardly ever agree on certain episodes, and it just goes on and on. I think I changed his mind on one of them. He's like, well, it's growing on me. I watched it a couple times. It's growing on me.
All right. Well, if I mistakenly gave it an 8, I changed my rating to a 7.5. I'll come down. I think it's a 7.5. I don't think it's.
I said 7.5. So
I think Bond and I are more aligned than not. You,
we are romantics, and he's just a cold-hearted.
Would you agree this is not your standard Twilight Zone episode.
To a certain extent, yes. It's not a standard Twilight Zone. However, it does have the sci-fi effect in the fact that you can get a brand new body because of the technology company that they go to. So I think the foundation is laid there. But I probably, like Vaughn said, I'm more of a romantic. The story of, love between, a husband and wife. I thought that was really nice.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It's a half twist, maybe not a full twist. Maybe it's a half twist. And there's no monsters or aliens in it, but
right.
And I do agree. There really isn't a twist in this. I agree with that, but I don't know that it's worth 3 points. But anyway,
so you remember when we get those double twists, the 2 twists?
Oh, those are good.
Those are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agreed.
Not so much. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Let's get a preview of next week's episode, unless you have...
Oh, can we? Because I can't wait.
All right. Here we go.
I'm sure we'll all agree.
And now, Mr. Serling. Next week on The Twilight Zone, we tell a story that we think might prove a rather haunting little item in the scheme of things. It tells of a small Mexican boy and a visitor from another planet. And it tells further what happens when this extraterrestrial traveler is faced with some of the less personable instincts of human beings, like fear, superstitions, and intolerance. Our story is called The Gift.
ADZ, you did not pick your prop. What's your prop?
The futuristic telephone. It's on the desk of the salesman. It was used in a previous episode. I think I got it, and I'm going to take it again.
I don't know why I just didn't take all the money at the poker table. That's what I should have took, right?
Yeah.
Well, please email us and let us know what you thought of this episode. Who is right among us? If none of us is right, if you marked it lower, if you marked it higher, tell us why, because inquiring minds want to know. So you're either on Team Jimbo or you're on the losing team. Okay, let's just keep that in mind.
Wow.
But I think this episode's coming to a close there, Eric.
And?
Cut.
From Khalil Gibran's The Prophet. Love gives not but itself and takes not from itself. Love possesses not, nor would it be possessed. For love is sufficient unto love. Not a lesson, just a reminder from all the sentimentalists in the Twilight Zone.